Shalom. I like to start off by giving all praises, all honor, all glory unto Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha Kodash. I like to give double honors unto the apostles and elders and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well, taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim preaching his word of truth and sincerity around the four corners. You know, like Elder Malcolm always says, risking their lives and freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to y'all. Peace and salutations to the Israelite foreigners, the Israelites that live amongst the heathen that look like the heathen. Like Elder Malcolm teaches us, this is not a black only thing. This is an Israelite thing. So you're going to have Israelites coming back into the fold looking like the nations that they were scattered to. So shalom to the scattered sheep, the speckled bird, and peace and salutations to the Akim and the few Aqua that listen and learn in silence. Shalom to the true believers, the true worshipers of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Those are the hopeful elect. It's your brother Yahweh, just coming back in the spirit and theme of prophecy. And I wanted to speak real briefly on I believe the guy's name is Nolan Wells, the 18-year-old Jake that was the body that was found. Well, he was declared missing when he went on a boat trip with his so-called quote-unquote Edomite friends. And this is just another lesson. I think it was in Mississippi. This is just another lesson to Jake. You know, you can't trust your enemy, you know. So I'm going to read a little bit of the article, hit a couple of precepts. The Lord's willingness is edifying. I ain't going to spend too long on this, like 10 minutes at most. Because, you know, this is just more proof that we racism still exists, and we do, and you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you do have enemies. And there's the heathen nations, and also it's the top enemy is Esau. Is the self-proclaimed white man. Let me see. This is from Mississippi Free Press. It says, Ranger finds body amid search for Nolan Wells, who vanished on Horn Island during trip with friends. You see? And when you got friends like this, who needs enemies, you know? Just the typical Edomite hatred for Jake, because, you know, Jake is just the salt of the earth. From what I understand, he played football too. You know, I think he went to SMCC. I think that's what the college was called. I'll just read the first two paragraphs. It says, a park ranger found a body on Horn Island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast on Monday morning amid the search for 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells, an Ocean Springs resident who went missing on Saturday, July 4th. WLOX reported that the body has not yet been identified. It says Wells, excuse me. It says Wells, who is around 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighs 180 pounds, was last seen around 3 p.m. Saturday on Horn Island, a barrier island 10 miles south of Pascagoula, Mississippi. He went out to the island with a group of friends on the holiday. The New York Post reported on Monday morning that Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter said the body was found in the water just offshore off the west end of Horn Island at 8:45 a.m. and that it does not that it does match the description of Wells. So you see, and from what I understand, they questioned his so-called friends, and they said that they didn't know what happened to him. But you know what happened to him. This is just the old school Edomite Esau. This is just the old school Esau and Jacob story. Esau had hatred for his brother Jacob, and he wanted to kill him, or murder him rather, because killing is righteous. Basically, Jake gotta understand that he got enemies, and until you understand that, you're gonna continue to go through the cycle of betrayal. And it's not really betrayal because Edomites are never your friends. They're your natural born enemies, I'll just get a couple scriptures and close it out. All right, this is the Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10. And it reads, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness." So you are commanded to never trust your enemy. And this is what that guy, Nolan Xavier Wells, did. He trusted in his enemy. Like, I'm telling you, Jake has to learn the hard way, because talking to them, it doesn't register. Jake don't do their own history. All you gotta do is look at the history of Esau's encounters with Jake, and it hasn't been good for Jake. The lynchings, the burnings, the castration, the Jim Crow, the redlining, the sundown towns, the drowned towns, just to name a few. The crosses burning on the lawn, and people think that it's just the South. Like, no, there's a book called Without Sanctuary, and it has Jake's being hung in the North as well. The pictures that you have that with the signs that say no niggers, no Puerto Ricans, no Mexicans, and no dogs, showing you that the so-called white man understands that you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are one people. And he's the one who's put the division amongst, like the Proverbs and the bywords. Because to be honest, the Heavenly Father put the division, but we're waking up to our heritage. Verse 11, it says, "Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away." You see, so you give it time and you wipe and you treat him like a looking glass. You got to take good heed. You got to really beware of the so-called white man. That's why myself, I make it my business not to be around so-called white people when it gets dark, I don't give a damn what anybody thinks of me. I know that so-called white people are capable of killing your ass and eating your ass if they choose to, and nothing is going to happen to them. Just like nothing is going to happen to this young Jake's so-called three friends that went with him on a party trip or a trip, you know. So let me get a couple more scriptures. Matter of fact, let me continue with this. This is exactly what happened to Nolan. The 13th verse. It says, "Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or such as come nigh wild beasts?" You see? So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? You see? For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. Yeah, and this is exactly the description of Esau. You know, in your downfall, he will not tarry. From what I understand, the guys were saying that the Edomites that were with him were saying that they don't know what happened to him. When they know what happened to him, they were the last ones with him. But that's Esau for you. Esau is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And this is why the Lord is going to cast fierce and harsh judgment on the whole Edomite race, because they are a nation of devils. Murderers, thieves, crooks, robbers, pillagers, like the list goes on and on. You know? Actually, I'm going to just end it there because nothing more really needs to be said. You can't trust these devils. And let this be a lesson to any Jakes that hang out with Edomites. You know, they're not your friends. And you need to smarten up straight before this befalls you. So, Lord's will, you is edified. Till next time, I'm going to say shalom to the elect.